ししめて面かじいっぱい男ここに酒でくだけよ決意をたがえちゃ男が捨てるそうだろさすらえとさすらえと果ての見える寂しいとししめて面かじいっぱい肌と肌ぶつけ合え聞こえるだろう男の歌がサンバガラス男歌苦難の道さえ捨ててみせろ女の笑顔が男のロマンいいだろう胸を張り張れよ我らが船恵比寿男と男目で通じ合う拭う汗美しいお前の中に眠る男を解き放て男歌ししめて面かじいっぱい肌と肌ぶつけ合え聞こえるだろう男の歌がサンバガラス男歌サンバガラス男歌
Ready to rock? You're getting your promotion. It's my rock. You're getting your promotion. I can do anything.
Your acrobatic hovercraft?
No! Maybe, but the result was this. Metallic paperweight. And now I can start sharing a cozy hot cup of Lapsang Souchong tea.
You what?
Okay, well... You're getting your promotion. It's my rock. You're getting your promotion.
You're on a show.
My show. I've had enough with you two. Look at my Minotaurs. What? That's no Minotaur.
clap their hands, I want something from it. I ain't got it, so you can't get it. Let's leave it at that, cause I ain't with it. Hit it with full strength. I'm a jail nigga, so I face the world like a girl in the door plan. You against me against you. Whatever, whenever, nigga, fuck you gon' do.
Stop. Pajama time. Come here, little kitties, on my lap. Guess who's back with a brand new rap? And I don't mean rap as in a new case of child molestation accusation. No worries, what else could I possibly do to make noise? I done touched on everything but little boys. 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자. 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자. 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자. 그런 반전 있는 여자. Go show, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip a party like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give up, it's not your birthday. Go party in the club, bottle full of booze. My mind got what you need if you need to feel the buzz. I'm in the having sex, I ain't in the making love. So come give me a hug if you're in the getting love. Give a little poke, it's okay.
G-A-D-E-N-A-N.
Go show, it's your birthday.
Old Spice, hold the blocker, body rock.
While the 80s remix of Backstreet Boys' I Want It That Way is pretty based, I'm afraid I do have to kind of show up, I guess. Look, I'm not gonna say that, like, you know, I definitely was here the whole time. I was just on my fucking phone, really. Go away, rude. Horrible. Why would you say that to me? But yeah, it's finally that time again, guys. It feels like it's been ages since the last viewing stream, honestly. However, I'm excited to be back. I'm also excited to try out something new that I'm hoping and praying, but mostly hoping, is gonna help with avoiding, you know, copyright and shit. Because I don't really want to, you know, it's like every time there's some copyrighted thing in there, sometimes it will, you know, get claimed later. Sometimes it will just, like, break the stream right away. What is this? Oh god, there's, oh my lord, so many PTO from Floof. Is there any bloopers but the ones I like? Anime version of Turnabout Big Top being better than the game. I mean, that's not that hard. I'm gonna be real with you. I fucking hated that stupid fucking trial. I hated it. All right, yeah, no, we can watch these. We're also gonna probably, because this is something I watched like the last time when I did Minecraft, and it was really just like, I think it just kind of happened because like Shroob posted some weird analog horror thing, and then we just ended up watching like commercials from the 90s, which is something that I kind of maybe want to do again today for nostalgia reasons. But yeah, I figured out a little trick, hopefully a trick that's gonna work to, like, you know, stave off copyright problems. But anyway, let's see what you posted, Floof. Oh, it's just gonna open over there. That's very cool. There we go.
Oh, please, Father.
You know what? Considering this is an anime, how about I just try it right away? So basically what I'm doing is I've flipped and changed the color, and I'm gonna put this over it. So who fucking knows? Maybe this will actually help. I hope it will. I think you can still see the video. Oh, also, somehow I've made myself smaller. Not really sure how I did that. Give me a second. Fucking keybind in real size. Yeah, yours. Yours, I'm sure. Anyway. Let's see if we can make this. By the way, I have to actually move this over. There we go.
Oh, please, Father.
There we go.
Kill him.
Oh, please, Father.
Kill him. That dog sure was tasty.
What I heard, they use this picture as a reference.
Never mind. All right. Oh, so in the anime, apparently Lotta is the one to tell you about the like facial reconstruction, whereas in the game it's, you know, the fucking gross man.
For what she looked like before the wreck damn near melted her face off.
Is this her driver's license?
I like that she started laughing.
What she looked like before the wreck damn near melted her face off.
Is this her driver?
And just the juxtaposition of Phoenix just being like, oh, is that her license?
Driver's license?
He's hot. Wanna do him?
Mm-hmm.
Come with me.
God damn it. Alright, fuck off.
Is this her driver's license?
Let me watch this.
Wanna do him?
Mm-hmm.
Come with me, Scruffy.
Yes, ma'am.
I cannot believe they didn't have the voice actress do a German accent for Franziska von Karma. I am shocked. Also, I've never seen the series that is based on the second game. I only ever saw the stuff that was based on the first game.
That turn you on?
Yes, ma'am.
That turn you on?
Great laugh, thank you.
That's my pet kitty.
Named Shoe?
I haven't been home for a while, so it's probably dead by now.
To be fair, though, that could just be actual dialogue.
We can't let the poor little kitty starve to death.
Yeah, we can.
Fuck.
There's no knife. There's no peanut butter for that jelly on the plate.
I'm Adrian Andrews.
It's really weird. I hope this isn't gonna spoil me, but it's really weird watching this and then, like, I mean, I'm assuming it's not gonna. And then having just, like, done this case, I will say that the characters all look exactly like the fucking game counterpart. Pretty good.
And I'm Matt Onguard's manager.
Bitch, I'ma slap those glasses off your face. No one on their side. And the truth was what it was all about.
It was the best.
Careful, you pansy. And CB radio. Fingerprints are all over it. That's how. Oh. Why was his most beloved possession found at the defendant's house? There's only one answer. After murdering Karida that night in his hotel room, the killer then delivered the bear to his client. That night in his hotel room, the killer then delivered the bear to his client.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't read it till I got there.
You hear that? The cat.
I did, yes. It was a loud-ass cat. I mean, who wouldn't hear that? His skittles are not of this earth.
A criminal mastermind. A thief that targets rare treasures. And he dresses like when Eric Vale thinks he's alone. We're dropping in unannounced.
It's cool. Without Ronnie here, my only company is my giant box of dildos.
You are alive. Oh no, you tripped on the dildos!
But what if it turns out that Ron Delight isn't really mask to mask after all?
Oh, fuck off. Oh, that was so good.
Because his wife said he was delusional? Come on, Nick, she's not even that hot!
And she's fine. She's prettier than you.
Like, serves you right. You got what you deserved. Or something along those lines.
Well, I can tell when someone puts their heart into their... My mic cut out, guys.
I'm sorry, Desi. I know you can't stand criminals.
Oh, the only... How was that? Nailed it. Like that awful detective.
Wait, are you...
Pretty good. I like it.
The defense gave a childishly amateur I can't even read those words. Oh no! There should have been another man at the table, across from the one you saw.
Yes, that's what Maggie was saying. That was German. That's what Maggie was saying. That's wow.
See, why didn't they have someone do that for Francisca? I think it's bullshit.
They're so close.
Shall hereby hand down the verdict in the case against Maggie Bird. Guilty as
Okay, Floof, you have to do that one next time. You have to do that. The judge is great. You have to do that next time.
Yikes, that'll never come out.
Yeah, but what is it? Definitely not blood. Absolutely not. It totally doesn't... So tell us, Mr. Tigre, on the day of your murder...
Yeah, I find it funny, too.
You don't remember that, do you? Because you're dead.
What? I don't know nothing about none of that, or what the hell a Trey being even is.
You're fucking lying.
Nuh-uh.
Why is there, like, Dark Evil Phoenix? I guess this is the third game.
Then explain this note, bitch. I'm afraid that I don't actually understand all of the words that are coming out of my mouth. We're moving again.
I wasn't expecting that.
Excuse me? What the f*** are you looking at?
Gaelic body
Nice.
did vanish.
Wait, did you f*** it?
Sure did. Where dust?
Then they hid themselves behind the door.
What?
Yeah!
No.
Yes! Jen, on behalf of Sweet Dolly, I object!
Wait, seriously?
Damn it, Eric, get the hell out of here!
Supposedly a special kind of poison.
This music turns me on!
Damn it.
Okay, you also have to do that.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, what is this music?
Anyway,
I like that it threw, like, literally all of them.
I'd like to proceed with a brief summary of the events in question. This tragic incident occurred one rainy afternoon on the local campus of IIT
Nice.
She would never have said and done all those terrible things. I'm such a bitch.
It's tough, but learn from this and move on.
You pansy!
I know.
Witness?
I can tell you're
Oh, yeah. She'll have her own story to tell about this one.
Maya. This just says eat more ramen. Scary. It's a special treasure that Mystic Maya herself gave me.
Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your special seashell is pretty hard to find.
F you, Eric.
To the contrary, we're prepared to hear their statement at any time.
Oh, your suit is loud.
It is very loud.
It's a proud member of the detective unit!
I don't believe that's relevant.
Detective! Shut the f up!
What? The victim was in on it?
Then I don't know what happened to her after that.
To be perfectly clear, it's not perfectly clear at all!
This man held a grudge.
That sounded like a sack line. I'm gonna be real with you.
Sorry, I do drugs.
I paid
You know what? That was also a sack line.
a visit to Wright at the hospital. He requested I do him.
What? He really asked for that?
He did.
Did you say hot? Oh, you youngsters love to crack jokes. You do training here. And hot bath is not part of that. You can shower in the cold waterfall, though.
Oh my god!
No, Maya! What the hell do you think you're doing, man? Stop!
Hey, no, let me go now.
No way! The freaking bridge is on fire!
Larry, f you.
Huh?
I'm serious, there's been a murder over at the temple.
Wait, for real?
Your fucking problem. Details like that are important, detective.
I feel like this is just what would happen if we voiced everything.
And perhaps you should take this as a clue to why you'd have never...
You're right about that, sir.
Yeti.
Can't be. It's Japanese writing.
Oh no.
I want Maya. No one cares about you.
I was so lonely and so scared that I was.
I mean, I know
gonna
I've
be
been
stuck
saying
there
that for
forever,
like
'cause when I woke
3
up, the bridge
episodes,
wasn't
but
there anymore,
really?
And I was by myself.
You be nice to her. You hear? Cause if not, I'll tater ya. Put it in your ass, butts. It's where I keep it, Phoenix.
When the ground began to tremble.
I went over to escort the defendant. Man, I took my eye off her for just a second. I really stepped in it this time. Man, I took my eye off her. Man, I took my eye off of her. Man, I took my eye off of her in a. Man, I took.
Keep trying, Gumshoe. Keep trying,
Even
Dick.
if it meant putting my own freedom in jeopardy. It was the master of the Kurain.
Kurain. I was right the first time. Damn it!
But I know. Words.
Betrayed her how?
Shut up!
It's underneath. Complex and bitter, but still tasty.
Could you please stop describing your testicles?
Alright. Nice. Pretty fucking good. Oh, holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, hold on. Oh, shit. And also posted a video. Alright. Anime version of Turnabout Big Top being better than the game. For 11 minutes straight. Okay, yeah, we're definitely also still gonna watch this with the video flipped. I think it's working though, right? How is it? Welcome, Payne, by the way, to the stream. How is it, like, still watchable, Floof? Or also Payne? I don't think you've seen too much though. Yeah? Okay, good. With this one, I'm more worried about the audio, actually. You know, with these things, it can often be the fact, though, that, like, there aren't enough clips for it to actually register. With this, I'm hoping that, you know, it'll actually work, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna work out. It's like, I think it's changed enough to the point where, you know, we can probably watch the videos. I'm too tired. Farming in Warframe to 3 AM was a bad idea. Farming in Warframe is a bad idea in general, I'm gonna say. All right, let's see. It's fun sometimes. I mean,
Hey, is it just me, or is this circus really?
bolas. Welcome, Sack. I hope you're not angry about the fact that I used your drawing of me getting spidered. Mo, yeah, he was here. He was here. See, Pain. Everybody gets something. I'm sorry. Is this just all that Phoenix fucking wears when he's not in the goddamn suit? It's so good. What I'm hoping for is that it'll, you know, stave off the copyright shit. So, yeah. Also, yeah, we're watching how the anime version of this trial is better than the game.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to witness a feat which can best be described as a miracle, performed by the greatest magician of all time, Maximilian Galactica!
Why does Phoenix look like a tired dad? Well, that's what he is. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. This is based music. What the fuck? The music wasn't this based in the game.
Gorgeous! So unbelievably gorgeous! This is awesome. Hello, loves. Welcome to the Magician's Chambers.
It's the real deal, Max Galactica!
Yeah, I don't know if real is the right word. Tell me, what is it that you desire?
The pedo. I hope they. My assumption is gonna be that they probably changed that for the anime.
Desire is to provide you with the most gorgeous defense!
My defense, you say? You make it sound as if I'm under arrest. Well, that's because you are. Honey, I am the Maximilian Galactica, you know.
Yeah?
Very big circuses, very big star.
Yeah?
And I'm doing fabulously well.
Are you, though?
You're pulling my wand! I'm afraid not.
Ha! Penis.
God, you gotta help me! I think he's pulling my wand, and hard.
Now there's the real deal. I know you're way too fabulous to do something like that.
Have any idea why they arrested you?
Maya's voice is weird. I'm not a huge fan of her voice. I like Sack Maya better.
It was because I was the last one to see him alive, that's all. Yes, that could be why. I'm not so sure about that plan.
Yeah, I know that flying freak is
Who's this man? What? This guy wasn't a character. They put their OC in this fucking anime. Get the fuck out of here. That is a dog. I agree.
With the way he treats everyone.
Waldo.
Oh, it's Max, all right.
This okay,
like he'd go out
guys.
of his way just to ridicule my act. He can rot in jail.
They think it's Max? Well,
That's literally, that ain't real. They have to cook. Okay, this is bullshit. I do not accept this. This is cancer. They literally specifically say, I'm not even that big a fan of the fucking series and I'm pissed. They literally specifically say that they all take turns cooking. Who's this fucker? Get him out of here. Not my fucking Phoenix Wright.
he broke a bunch of my plates, so he's got a temper.
I think we know how everybody feels about Max.
Well, I'm awful sorry for blowing my stack like that, y'all. No, I mean, please accept my dearest apologies, honeys.
You mean issues like hitting Ben the ventriloquist?
Yes, that's right.
And making fun of Moe's corny puns?
That as well.
Why do you fight with them anyway? You're all part of the same circus.
Look, as a serious artist and trained performer, I can't respect their cheap gags and shtick. I worked hard for 10 years on mastering the magical arts. Last year, I finally claimed the coveted top honor at the Magician's Grand Prix. The audience that day was astounded and amazed.
It's
by
fucking
my
hilarious how he looks even more like a woman in the anime, though. Like, he is obviously extremely feminine in the game, but somehow they've managed to make him look even more like a woman here.
My heart sang. I was showered by applause and admiration. I could have passed away right there and died happy.
Well, then why didn't you?
My entire life had led up to that glorious moment. Artists should strive for greatness. We should never stop learning and honing our skills. But all of those riffraff are staying in their comfort zones. I find it incredibly stale and trite. It's not like they're incapable of improving. They just choose not to.
So that's what all of that was about.
My behavior.
You're gorgeous!
I shall disappear from this dreadful place in no time. Right, love?
No. Today is your lucky day!
Oh no.
You are the 1 millionth person to experience Mo the Clown's cavalcade of comedy! Smile or you can use this for your wine! But enough about current events! Get it!
I did.
Name an occupation or else.
Yeah,
Once again.
girls, but I go by Mo. Professional jokester and funny man. I'll tell 100.
That's me, professional jokester and funny man. I couldn't finish the sentence.
Rapid fire jokes!
No joking. Now talk.
I'm missing the horse-faced German voice. Oh no, no! Not the depression sprite. He's back. And better than before, fully animated. It looks worse than the game sprite. It looks kind of fucked. Like the eyes are lopsided. They really didn't do a good job. They really didn't do it justice. Also, Mo looks like 3 times as fat in the anime. I don't know. They did my boy dirty. Who the fuck are these guys? What the fuck?
See you later.
What? Alright, dude, see you later.
Together we'll start our own circus. One that'll put a smile on everybody's face.
Darn it, Russ. What in the heck am I gonna do without you around?
Mo!
How's his makeup not running?
That night, the ringmaster made his way to the plaza. He'd been summoned there by a note. Awaiting him in the snow was a large wooden box. He wanted to see what was inside of it, what mystery it held.
By the way, still bullshit. Still bullshit. That's just his face. Oh, of course. Of course. By the way, still fucking bullshit. Still absolute fucking bullshit.
But it was locked, so no matter how hard he tried, he could not get it open. This left him no choice but to try to take the box with him.
Yeah, exactly.
In order to lift the heavy
No
box,
other choice. No, not leave it there. Not go ask anybody else what the fuck the box is about. He had to take that with him.
The victim had to squat like so. And then, a deadly weapon came crashing down on a collision course with his head.
What is that?
Max Galactica?
That's right. The murder weapon was quite a unique one indeed. The defendant's prize, which he won at the Magician's Grand Prix, a life-sized bust of himself. And now the trick that proves the witness is a magician.
How does the judge see what's going on?
Slow motion look at the illusion he performed.
Okay, see, that's actually kind of based. That they're using this stage play bullshit, and like everybody's coming together to like prove that it wasn't Max's fault. Also, Clown Maya, yes. But that's just regular Maya, though.
That looks like Max flying away!
And that is it. How the ringmaster was killed by an illusion. It's true. And the only one who could have pulled this off was the man in the room directly above the crime scene, Acro.
say?
What the fuck?
If you think the show's over, you must be living in denial.
In denial!
Gorgeous!
What the What?
Look at me, everybody! I'm as light as a feather, flying like a bird!
Francisca, you do it too.
Help that jerk!
Why in the world would we want to do that? To return the favor, he renegotiated his salary with Barry. And though he asked to be paid more, the paperwork shows he wanted a raise for all of you too.
Ah, okay.
I'm completely serious. He wanted you to be more motivated. He may be egocentric, but this proves he truly cares about the circus.
And I guess he's not a pedophile now,
Great show, Mo.
which is also a good thing.
What happened 6 months ago?
Regina, listen to what he says.
Oh God.
Then you should understand.
Yeah, sure.
Bailiff, apprehend this man.
Bailiff, smack his
Straight to
nuts.
jail for what he's done.
Wait!
Regina?
I haven't gotten a chance to apologize to you yet. Apologize?
Please don't.
All of this is my fault.
Get the fuck away from me.
And Leon and Daddy, they're gone because of me. It's not him. It was me. I should take the blame, so you should put me in jail instead. Please.
That's kind of you, but I'm the only one who meant to kill anybody.
Regina, do you understand why Acro tried to hide his crime? It's because he couldn't just run away.
Oh, 'cause Bat?
That's right. Bat has been asleep for 6 months now. And when the day finally comes and he wakes up, Acro wanted to be by his side. What happened to Bat chased Acro forever. Do you understand what other people?
Well, yeah, he lost use of his legs, I would say.
I'll be there for him while you're gone. Bat is gonna wake up someday and I'll be there to tell him how much he means to you, Acro.
He's like, oh fuck. Well, that's okay.
You done it! I mean, I'm not made of stone, but I'd better get rolling.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
The jokes are still as corny as ever.
Thank you very much, O, for visiting the very big circus and watching me flex my comedy muscles. We really hope you enjoyed it, folks.
Also, why is he telling jokes and not doing like clown shit?
Ringmaster of the greatest circus in the world.
As though people are gonna be able to tell what he's saying.
Hold on, what's up?
Oh shit.
Gorgeous, but there's something missing here. Wait, is that him?
It's the guy.
You can't claim to be the world's greatest circus without magic. Right, loves? No, you need the world's greatest magician.
Hey there, Max.
It is him, but why? I thought he had moved on from us. Gorgeous. If you're on a journey to be the best, I'll take that road with you on one condition. Yeah. And that is, of course, if you can somehow forgive my boorish behavior. Well, can you, Ringmaster? Yes, of course! If we have you, we can conquer anything we face! No, we'll conjure anything, know what I'm saying?
We want to see the best circus in the world!
That was a good one, Mo. Okay, let's remember Russell's dream and put a smile on everybody's face!
Okay, you know what? That's not bad.
You knew this was gonna happen, Nick?
So gorgeous!
I like that. That's pretty cool. I remember the first season with the one that I watched, which was, you know, just based on the first game, was very good. I've not watched anything past that though. And I mean, it's been a couple years, you know. I think the whole thing is out. So I'm probably I'm going to end up watching it at some point, I'm sure. All right, what is this? I made DLC in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire using the Nintendo e-reader. Well, for this, I'm assuming I don't have to do the thing. All right. I think it works. I don't know. I haven't gotten anything saying like, "Oh, hey, your video is stinky." Oh god, the green. Oh, fuck. Green Game Boy Advance SP. Was that a thing? Actually, I don't remember that. Weren't the SPs all... No, they weren't all silver. Because I remember there was a red one. There was... the red one. Pokemon and Ruby. Don't give Nintendo ideas.
Done on an unmodified copy of Pokemon Ruby with no glitches or hacks. Well, no hacks on the copy of Pokemon Ruby, anyway. All of this was done using the often forgotten Nintendo Game Boy Advance peripheral known as the Nintendo e-reader and the Eon ticket. No, not the in-game item, the physical card. I don't have a real one. Before downloadable content, developers had to get creative if they wanted to add extra content to an already released video game, and the e-reader was one of those techniques. It's a GBA cartridge with an infrared scanner in it, and you use that to scan special trading cards with dot codes on them to gain access to small programs. In Pokemon's case, this was used to add content to almost every single Gen 3 game. You can use it to add new trainers to Moss Deep City, add unique berries, or unlock custom events. That last thing is what we're interested in here. Ruby and Sapphire have one custom event, the aforementioned Eon ticket, but the other Gen 3 games have 4 different event locations that you can go to via the mystery gift feature. So I got to thinking, wouldn't it be cool if Ruby and Sapphire had access to all of these custom events that Fire Red and Leaf Green and Emerald had? But that's impossible, right? Well, as it turns out, Ruby and Sapphire's mystery event feature is far more flexible than the mystery gift feature featured in Pokemon Emerald and Fire Red and Leaf Green. So let's analyze how the Eon ticket works and see what we can do to mess with it.
Interesting.
I'll be using the code from PokeCardE, a disassembly project on GitHub from Hatchkey and Packy. The first thing the Eon ticket does is set which object will execute the script that we make when we interact.
I've been on GitHub so much recently.
Are what map and map bank said object is on, and the last number is what person event it is. And I can get all that info from the ROM hacking program called Advanced. As it turns out, a person event is not just person as you would expect it would be. It can
AI
be anything from
stuff.
NPCs to cut trees to rock
And
smash
I hate. I don't want to see the fucking
and
site.
the Voltorbs on the ground, and even items that you can pick up off the floor as long as they're visible. These are all person events, which we could assign our script to. In Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald, the mystery gift and event functions are hard-coded to only work with the delivery man in the Poke Centers. So what we could do there is a lot less interesting and a lot less flexible than what's available in Ruby and Sapphire, where the world is literally our oyster. After the Eon ticket sets its person event, it then defines the location for 2 different scripts in RAM. The preload script and the Norman script. The preload script only runs while you're at the mystery event loading screen, and it does some checks to see if you've played the mystery event for the Eon ticket before. And if you have, it
I love scripts. I mean,
all written in Gen.
It's interesting, right? Like, the thing is, I think coding and programming fucking sucks ass to do, but it is interesting to like see how games work, right?
Gen 3's proprietary scripting language, which is quite limited. As you can see here, there's really not a lot of commands, but it's what every scripted event in the Gen 3 games is written in, so it will have to do. Or will it?
Oh.
Okay, so how does the Eon ticket get this information?
Okay, what are we...
Well, it does a transfer...
We're doing some crazy shit tonight.
...to the location in the game's RAM called, well, RAM script. This is a 995 block of data starting at 2028 DCC in RAM, and it ends at 20291 AF. I keep talking about bytes and RAM, but what are these things? Well, think of the games of Ruby and Sapphire as a mall, and all of the in-game data and functions as stores that you can go to within said mall. A RAM location like 2028 DCC is just the number on the directory that tells you where the store is. A byte is a measurement of size. Think of it like the amount of square feet a store would take up in the mall. Now, to give you some perspective on how little space we have to work with,
when was this released?
Of Ruby and Sapphire
4 weeks ago.
16,512 kilobytes.
That's fucking nothing.
1,000
Jesus.
bytes go into a kilobyte. So we have roughly 0.007% of the game's total storage space to write the scripts that I want to write into the game.
That's like fucking nothing. 16,000 kilobytes?
So after the transfer is complete, the game runs the preload script, and if you
I mean, I guess it's what, 16
then
megabytes.
Talk to Norman, he will run whatever is located at RAM script. His script is also very simple. It just checks if you've
Which is crazy to think that like an entire and I mean, you could say this about a lot of like old games, because like look at fucking Doom. The entirety of Doom was what, 2 megabytes? A little more than 2 megabytes? Or was it 4? I don't remember. I'm sure Shroob would know. But yeah, it's like, it's kind of crazy to think. And like Ruby and Sapphire aren't small games, right? Like they're not tiny games.
Or in your back.
It's just assets were so much smaller back then.
And if you pass all of those checks, he will play some dialogue and give you the Eon ticket. So the first change I tried to make was very simple. I wanted to see if I could change the NPC effectively. And so I made it some random NPC at the Moss Deep Space Center, since I wanted to do a Deoxys event, and my first hope was to get something going there. It worked, so now it's time to start programming.
Oh no!
At this point, I think it's worth mentioning that all of this was inspired by the work of
when you think about Gold and Silver and the Game Boy cartridge being even more small, like how, yeah, right, it's crazy. It's crazy. But again, you know, it's like assets weren't that big. You didn't need that much, like, and especially on I mean, I guess Game Boy Color. Well, no, yeah, it was Game Boy Color, wasn't it? Yeah, Game Boy Color, like, even less so than you know, Game Boy Advance, because you didn't even have to have that many colors. It was all very basic colors. But, and I mean, you know, if you think back to like Game Boy Pokemon games, most of the overworld was like, you know, white. Did a lot of things with that by, for example, putting every tile on one thing, or the ... being only one symbol. Yeah. There's a lot. They you know, back then you had to be a lot more creative with how you did your coding and how you like implemented everything. Which is also why, like, for example, you know, even with the Game Boy Advance, it's so hard to like change color patterns or whatever, which I'm assuming, you know, you already know anyway, because of the way that it's like hard coded into a lot of the games, right? But all that is to say, nowadays, since everything is like more standardized, it's really funny that like we still get like completely unfinished and fucky glitchy messes.
Cards. And while looking for interesting things to do with them,
Terrible.
I stumbled across her videos. She actually made a custom Deoxys event years ago, and she did it in Meteor Falls. So I thought the first thing I would do was try and recreate that event. It was actually extremely simple to get going. I just used the set wild battle command to put a full Deoxys in enemy RAM. Then I check if the player has room for a moonstone in their bag. And if they do, I use call standard function 1 to delete the Pokeball on the floor and give them a moonstone. I set some visual flourishes with text boxes and the special commands, which let me play effects like earthquakes or flashes. And then I use the do wild battle command, which actually starts the battle. And bam, a level 30 wild Deoxys. This is really cool. Or that's what I thought at first. But this is when I realized that this project is going to take a lot more work than I first thought to get an actually usable end product.
And no kidding.
1. Deoxys and Mew require a specific flag set if they are to obey the player in any Gen 3 game that isn't Ruby and Sapphire.
No.
This is known as the event legal flag, sometimes called the obedience flag or the faithful encounter flag. So if this Deoxys was traded to Emerald, it wouldn't obey any orders at all. 2. This Pokemon does not look legal at all if I drag and drop it into Pikachu, and I bet you it would not transfer to the newer games via Bank and Home. 3. I use the Dragon Claw TM for this, to start the event. What if a player already picked that item up? 4. What if they didn't pick it up? Does the player just now miss out on the Dragon Claw TM? That doesn't seem very fair. Well, it's time to problem solve, which in my experience is how programming really is.
Yeah, I mean...
What I decided to do about the Dragonclaw TM situation was use the preload script to
Oh boy.
So if the player had already picked it up, when they load this event, the item will be stored to that spot. And if they hadn't picked it up yet, it won't do anything. So I can guarantee the item will always be there to start my event script.
Go see your father. Oh shit. So OnlyFans girls can play this game then.
Picked up the Dragonclaw TM yet, they now lose it because it turns into a Moonstone. So
that was
what I decided
mean.
to have was the Pokemon would be holding the item that was on the ground formerly if it was a rare item, like Dragonclaw. I think that having the Moonstone there makes it feel more custom and interesting, but I didn't think it was fair to have the player permanently lose out on an important item. So I think that's a pretty good compromise. At this point, I also went ahead and added some text to the preload script, which gives a little bit of story flavor as to why the
He looks like a programmer.
As for legality, that's a much bigger issue, and one I was only able to tackle with the help of my friends Riley and Xiao. And the most powerful command in the entirety of the Gen 3 scripting language. Call ASM.
Oh no.
This script command lets you jump to any place in RAM or ROM and begins executing whatever is there as code. But not the easy scripting code we've been using thus far. No. GBA assembly code. Assembly is the closest you can get to speaking directly to the GBA's computer chip. The GBA has two different modes of operation, ARM and Thumb, and thus two different assembly languages that you can write.
Oh no.
And they're, hard. This is why I turned to Xiao and Riley for help. They both have a pretty extensive history of programming and assembly in the GBA to make ACE codes for the Gen 3 games. Although those were written in ARM assembly, whereas I chose to write in Thumb assembly. Suffice it to say, I had my work cut out for me here.
The demon has invaded. The demon... Satani.
I can barely program something usable in C++ or JavaScript, and I went to school for baking, not computer science. But nevertheless, I was determined to try. Xiao very quickly came up with the idea to call the in-game function known as setBoxMonData, using call ASM. This function lets you change one thing about a Pokemon at a time, and it has 3 arguments to it. One is, where's the Pokemon in RAM? 2 is, what do you want to change about that Pokemon? And 3, what is the value that you want to put in the spot that you're going to be changing? After a lot of debugging to figure out what went where, we had our first program. Behold, its beauty, its majesty, and wait, how am I even going to get this custom code into the GBA? The only way I could see to write custom data into my script was using the write byte to address function, which at the cost of 6 bytes lets you write 1 byte of data to a specific location. Hardly efficient. But that's when Riley had a realization. You see, everything in the scripting language is actually just a macro. But when you look at what the macros are doing, all they do is define a byte of data and then maybe leave room for a variable or two afterwards. So what we did was make our own custom macros, where all we do is set bytes of data in a long chain after converting our assembly code into hexadecimal data. And as long as you put these functions in places the scripting language never
goddamn
goes, they'll never be read as scripts. But when we jump to them with call ASM,
everything is a macro.
They truly are. Let's go over how this program works because it's actually really simple. SetBoxMonData gets the arguments it needs directly from the GBA CPU. In Thumb mode, the CPU has 8 spots, known as registers, that it can read and write from. What I do is write register 0 with the location of Deoxys. I get this data into the register by having it at the end of my program, and I say load whatever value is at our current location plus 12 into register 0. So it looks at where we are in RAM, adds 12 to it, and then loads whatever is at that location into register 0. I repeat this with register 1, which has a 4 at the identifies the location of the obedience flag in a Pokemon's structure. After that, we do it again with register 2, but that has a location of the data we want to set the obedience flag to, which is in this case 10.
I will say,
lastly, I load register
just one thing. Pain, be happy you're just building planes.
Register 3. SetBoxMonData does its thing, and then instead of returning to my custom ASM, it actually returns to the scripting language.
Everybody just be happy you're doing the thing that you're doing.
Now, Deoxys needs 2 other things changed about it. Its game origin
and you will never have to learn anything about this stupid fucking shit.
Although Fire Red and Leaf Green would work too, I guess. The nice thing about this code is that I can actually just very easily
making a game
for both of those things.
I mean,
all I have to do is change what's in register 1 and
I guess
2, and bam.
But I mean, Floof, you're also using like a simplified tool.
Weird in Ruby and Sapphire directly after you
imagine if you had to do like all this kind of fucking shit.
In Emerald version, you can see that
and I know that like, you know,
it's got the game origin
RPG Maker can get difficult with like if you want to do like a lot of crazy stuff, but you know what I mean.
On the Eon ticket itself, I
Imagine you would have to do that. Yeah, exactly.
Event instead of sending the Eon ticket, and I also changed the picture from the Eon ticket to a front sprite of the Deoxys. I got the sprite and the palette for the Deoxys from Poke Emerald. Thank you, Riley. And I changed the dimensions of the picture in the Eon ticket, and I also had to change the include for the palette to Inkbin. This is a whole process and really frustrating, but I'm glad we figured it out because I think the end result was really nice. Really, all that's left to do is make the 5 other unique Emerald events that I want to add into this game. But all the card assembly stuff is done, and that's really copy-pastable. So I really just had to pick locations for the Pokemon and add custom text and visual flourishes. So with that said, let's showcase the events. For Mew, I chose Route 120, since it was reminiscent of Faraway Island with all the tall grass and whatnot. I also used an invisible Kecleon block as the trigger for the event to reference Mew's Pokédex entry as a Mirage. Mew is also holding a Starfberry here, another Mirage reference, and the item that Kecleon becomes is a Lumberry, because while Mew supposedly has a 100% chance to hold that item. In addition, while I thought about and toyed with making Mew Japanese, since that's the only legal one, I ultimately decided it was fine to leave it in English. The main reason for this was that if your trainer name or nickname for Mew was outside of the 5-character limit of a Japanese Mew, it'd become illegal, since that's not possible on Japanese games. Besides, all language Mews pass through Pokemon Bank and Home anyway. I did include code to change it to Japanese, so if you want to do that, just follow the instructions on my code, and feel free to try it for a more authentic Mew. With Lugia, I made the setting the
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Why don't you replicate this?
Omega Ruby. The item on the floor is Calm Mind, representative of Lugia trying to contain its power, and it's holding a Water Stone, which was the original item.
Yeah, go right ahead. Blue. Would you like to have the Funny Mon? Wait, how much more? Oh my god.
As Ho-Oh in its native mythology is said to be able to revive the dead. I made the item on the ground a Sacred Ash, and its hold item a Bright Powder. The item on the ground was originally a full heal or something, so I decided when the item was not of importance, I'd make the held item a rare item only obtainable from the Battle Frontier or the Tower, or something like that, just as a reward for playing the
Oh shit, there he is. It's Ho-Ho. It's the big man himself.
And that's all the event Pokemon from Emerald version done. But I also thought it would be cool to allow the player to catch the version-exclusive legendary from the other game using these cards as well. So Ruby could catch Kyogre, and Sapphire could catch Groudon. The only difference between these 2 events and the other ones in terms of their code is that they don't need the event legal flag set. So I removed that piece of code from my assembly. In addition, they're the only events that I locked to the post-game. Every other event that I've made so far can actually be done the moment you unlock Mystery Event, which is just after defeating Norman. But I didn't want Kyogre and Groudon outshining each other in their own games, so it's post-game only. For Groudon, I really wanted to put its encounter on Mount Chimney, but there was not a single suitable item or interactable there. The meteorite container was unfortunately considered a signpost, which I cannot set as an event flag. So I moved it a bit south to the Jagged Pass. The item it's holding is the Soft Sand.
Ground Boy. Luigi. That's cool though. That's
Kyogre I'm quite proud of.
Interesting.
Underwater where the Submarine Explorer 1 is. I had to re-enable several story flags using the preload script to make it reappear, but they go away the moment you do the event. I think it's worth it for the cool visual of having the submarine back. Did anyone else have that rumor in their school where you could take the submarine and go to Johto to get the Johto starters there? Just me? I don't know.
Should have made that a thing.
Is holding the scope lens. I would have done the Mystic Water, but everyone gets that item from cast form during their playthrough, so I just picked a random rare item. And that's every unique Emerald event brought to Ruby and Sapphire.
Mew Truck, truly.
I was quite proud of this, but I wanted to do one more event. Something to really make this set of cards special.
Part 5 Agate Celebi.
Oh.
Celebi is probably one of the toughest Pokemon for players to get if they're playing legitimately in Gen 3 and they're not from Japan. The English event for this was not preserved, and even if it was, you would still need a flashcard or something to access it. Although if you do want this event, my friends Gopierre and Undead Reality have successfully made a recreation of it and every other Gen 3 distribution. So if you're interested in that type of thing, go check out their video on it. But what this means is the only way you could get a 100% legal Celebi today is accessing the Japanese bonus disc. In order to do this, you need a Japanese copy of Pokemon Coliseum that has all the Shadow Pokemon purified, a copy of the bonus disc, a Japanese copy of a GBA game that has gone past the Hall of Fame, and the most important thing is a GameCube that could play Japanese GameCube games. This is a lot of investment, both with your money and your time.
Hey, do know a little
I got it
bit.
into my head that I could recreate this event within Ruby and Sapphire themselves. And as a bonus, I really, really wanted this event to be battleable. This is because outside of the Virtual Console Celebi event, you've actually never been able to battle Celebi to capture it, and I thought that would be really unique and really cool. But making this event would actually be significantly more difficult than anything I had done thus far.
No kidding.
This was because my other program was just me setting up the registers as needed and then yelling at the game saying, "Hey, do setbox Mondata," and it goes, "Yeah, right." But here, I'll be able to use almost no in-game functions. You see, the Agate Celebi has a lot of set data.
Oh,
In fact,
God.
The only things that are random about it are the personality value of the Pokemon, the PID, and the IVs. Everything else is entirely static. This means if I wanted to make Celebi legal, I would have had to call setbox Mondata like 12 times or something. And really, that would have meant space would be quite a concern here. So to resolve this, Xiao came up with the idea of storing a temporary Celebi in RAM. Since all this info is static, I just took a legal Agate Celebi that I had, decrypted it, and then zeroed out the IVs and the PID. And I used the same method we used to store our programs to store an entire Pokemon. Then, once everything is stored, we can just copy it directly into enemy RAM. With Celebi set up this way, we actually won't need to call setbox Mondata at all. So for the IVs and PID, we can just call the game's normal RNG
Nice.
and use that to fill out the PID and IVs, right? Wrong.
Oh.
You see, Pokemon Coliseum actually uses a different RNG algorithm than Ruby and
Oh my
Sapphire
God.
to determine how a Pokemon is built. This means that
Stinky
if I want to use it,
Colosseum.
I can program it in myself. So what the GBA games do is they take the RNG state from a location in RAM, and they multiply a number to it, which is 41C6-4E6D. Then it adds 673 to that number. After that, it stores the upper 4 digits of that number somewhere, and then it repeats the math and stores the upper 4 digits again. Then it combines those two things, and that forms a Pokemon's PID. After that, it does it 2 more times for the Pokemon's IVs, with each RNG advancement effectively storing 3 IVs of the Pokemon. As for the GameCube methodology, luckily they both use 32-bit PRNG states ranging from 0 to FFFFF. So I can use the GBA's current position as the starting point for my Calo RNG algorithm. So after I have the RNG state loaded, the game does multiplication and addition, but the numbers are different. For Calo, you multiply 343FD, and you add 269EC3. After that, it does the same storage technique, where it pulls the upper 4 digits of the hex number, but it's for the Pokemon's IVs first. Then it does an RNG advance just to determine the Pokemon's ability. And lastly, it does the Pokemon's PID RNG in 2 advancements. So the addition and multiplication numbers are different, the order of generation is different, and there's an extra RNG call in there for the ability.
That's
in addition to
okay.
that, Agate Celebi is shiny locked, so I will have to incorporate that as well. So here is the RNG
That's kind of
algorithm I
crazy.
ended up programming in. Let's take a look at how
Amogus.
this works. First, I load the PRNG state into my program. And after that, I do the first RNG advancement, which is the multiplication and then addition, and I temporarily store the IVs in a register. Following that is the second advance, where I store the lower 3 IVs in a different register. Then I combine all 6 IVs together, and I store them in the IV location of this temporary Celebi. After that, I do an RNG call for the ability, but I don't store anything. This is because if a Pokemon in Gen 3 only has one ability, like Celebi does with Natural Cure, even if the RNG call or PID says it should have a different ability, it just hard codes it to be ability 0. So it makes my temp Celebi's ability always valid. Okay, onto the PID and Shiny Lock. But before that, let's talk about how shininess works in these games so you can understand how I'm doing the lock. So to determine if a Pokemon will shine, the game performs a bitwise exclusive OR between the PID and TID and SID of a Pokemon. And if that operation results in any number from 0 to 7, it'll be shiny. So what I do is I generate the PID upper and lower using the same
That's interesting.
calls, and then I load Celebi's trainer ID into one of the registers. I do the exclusive OR and check if the result is 7 or below.
Time to hack the Pokemon and get only shiny.
Until I find a new one. And that check
Genius time.
until it finds a Celebi that wouldn't shine.
Big
But
brain time.
Why am I implementing a shiny lock to my fake made-up event? Well, don't worry, I've actually made
Shiny
two.
butthole.
One where Celebi
That's
can
you.
shine and one where it can't. In the one where it can shine, I've just replaced the jump instruction, which would cause the loop to happen if the compare function was 7 or below, to a no-op. So even if it is 7 or below, it just continues on like normal and stores the shiny PID. But let's talk about why I've done this. So I really like RNG manipulation. It's one of my main hobbies and ways to interact with this franchise. And one of the reasons for that is to get really good, unique RNG legal Pokemon. But if I delete the shiny check, it actually deletes some RNG legal Pokemon. Allow me to explain.
That's
So
me
the
after
way the
trying
Celebi is
competitive.
generated is IVs, then ability, and then PID. And if it hits the shiny lock, it only discards the PID. It does not discard the IVs. This means that you can get unique nature and IV combos by aiming intentionally for some shiny
Unfucking believable.
where you will get the shiny Celebi's IVs, but the nature of the next Celebi that wouldn't be shiny. To me, it didn't feel right to unilaterally delete these spreads for players like me who would get enjoyment out of hitting these Celebis. But I also know that there's many shiny hunters who would like to enjoy this event. So I thought that making 2 separate ones would be a good compromise so everyone could equally enjoy this event that I've made. I hope you agree with that as well. So you think at this point we could just take our current Celebi, transfer it entirely to enemy RAM, and then
Of course not.
we'd be ready to go, right? No, we can't do that. Why? You see, the order the 4 encrypted substructures of a Pokemon are stored is based on that Pokemon's PID. And because we've changed our Celebi's PID, we have most likely changed the order of these substructures, and all the data is
Oh
read
my
along,
lord.
sort of like a POMED corruption. So how do we fix this? Well, it's time to learn about Pokemon data substructures and Pokemon encryption. So the way a Pokemon is stored in RAM is as follows.
Oh no.
PID, then their full trainer ID, name,
I mean, that's the
language,
thing though,
if
like,
they're an egg or not, the trainer
it's
name,
always,
marking data,
it's
checksum,
always
and then 2 empty bytes that are always 0. And then after all
one
of this,
thing and then
1,000
1,000 other things.
that are encrypted and contain
I
various
hate
info about
coding.
Pokemon.
I hate it.
G stores the growth
I
aspect,
hate
species,
knowing.
experience,
I
build
hate.
item, and
I don't want to know how software
A is what
works.
attacks the Pokemon has,
It's
and
just
comes
magic, okay?
on said attacks.
Coding
E is the
funny.
ease and
No, it's
conditions, which
not.
stores, well, all of the
I
E's
hate
and
it.
the contest conditions. M is miscellaneous, which contains Met location, game origin, IV's ability, and
Mets?
The order in
Mets
which these
location?
substructures are stored is determined by the remainder of a Pokemon's PID divided by 24. The way we handled this was by crafting lookup tables for each of the substructures. This was so that when we copy the Celebi into enemy RAM, we can check where each of the substructures need to be copied to relative to the end of the unencrypted data. And you guessed it, the way we inserted these tables was the exact same way we inserted the temp Celebi, using fake macros. With Celebi's data filled out, I send the entire unencrypted portion to enemy RAM using a memory copy BIOS function that's built into the Game Boy Advanced. After that, I do a mem copy for the encrypted sections dealing with the jumbled around PID. Okay, so we're almost done here, but the Celebi's checksum is now incorrect because we've changed the IVs. The checksum is just a simple addition of all of the half words in the encrypted sections, and the only thing I changed about the encrypted sections was the IVs. So I just have to add their values to the checksum. Now with the checksum done, we have to encrypt the Celebi. The Celebi has been unencrypted the entire time, so we just called the in-game function encrypt_boxmon in order to do that. And all we have to do is put the location of Celebi into R0, which is enemy RAM. So the last thing I need to do is call calc_boxmon stats.
Oh god, there's a jar in the background, guys.
To save space.
Not to alarm anybody, but
and when you look at them or
there's
them or something like that, it quickly
did he say jar?
And I have to do this because the stats are
And the
not just
cat?
its
What?
battle stats,
Oh,
but
there is a
also
cat in the
levels,
background, you're right.
HP and everything like that. So if I don't do this, Celebi will show up at level
He
0.
blurred it though
And we've
for,
also been working
you
with
know,
Boxmon the entire time because we knew we'd be able to just call this function at the end of the process.
privacy
So
purposes.
once that's done,
Can't
we've got
dox
fully
me your
legal
own
Celebi
cat.
in enemy RAM. And we can even battle it. We can verify that it's fully legal by copying the bytes of data out of the GBA's RAM watch in MGBA and pasting it into a program like PokeGlitzer or PKHex. Why do I have to do it this way? Well, because once we catch it, the Celebi turns into a bad egg. Yeah. So why does this happen? Well, catching a Pokemon actually overwrites a few pieces of its data. The trainer ID, the trainer name, the player gender, and the Pokeball are all overwritten on capture. And the trainer ID is actually part of the encryption key used to decrypt the Pokemon substructures. Because that's changed from what it used to be, the decryption fails and the Pokemon becomes a bad egg. So how do we deal with this? Well, my solution for this was a bit hacky, but I think it worked out all right. So if I want to properly put this Celebi in your save, I need to know where it's going. And if it goes to a box, it's gone. I don't know where it is. But if it goes to your party, I can actually figure that out. And I do all of this within the scripting language. So the first thing I do is lock the player out of the event if they have more than 5 Pokemon in their party. I do this using the Count Pokemon script command. It checks twice. Once during the preload script and once when you talk to the Celebi, so you can't get around this check. After that, I store the amount of party Pokemon into one of the predefined variable locations. From there, once the battle ends, I do the Count Pokemon function again, and I compare the number from this Count Pokemon to the previous one that I have saved. If the new number is not bigger, I send you to a part of the script that narrates Celebi running away. If it is bigger, that means you caught the Celebi. But the Celebi is a bad egg now if you look at it. So what I did was, after Celebi is stored into enemy RAM, but before the battle starts, I recopy the finished encrypted Celebi from enemy RAM back over my temp Celebi within script RAM. Then, after the bad egg is in your party, I use the number in the new count Pokemon to see what party slot it went into, and I copy the Celebi from script RAM over it, which just deletes the bad egg entirely. A nice bonus about this is that since I only copy the Boxmon portion of the Celebi, and the bad egg stuff doesn't touch the calculated stats, Celebi shows up with the proper HP values and such from the battle, so I don't have to worry about those last 20 bytes at all. Unfortunately, my solution does cause some differences in how a normal capture works to how this one works, so allow me to explain the differences for you so you understand what you're getting into when you do this event. First of all, the Pokeball for Agate Celebi has to be a Pokeball in order to be legal. So no matter what you catch it in, post-battle, it's going to be in a Pokeball. This means no ball matching for you if that's something you really enjoy. Can't do it. Up next was the trainer gender. This is something that gets overwritten on capture as well, typically, but Agate Celebi always has a female trainer gender, so that's what it's going to be. You won't get the nice blue name that a male trainer name gets you if you like that. Up next is the remaining PP of the moves. Even if Celebi runs out of all its PP in battle, when you catch it, it's going to be restored. This is because I copy Celebi from enemy RAM into script RAM before the battle starts, not after it. This is for a reason I don't want to get into right now, but that means the PP will be restored. Unfortunately, this causes the nickname to also not get stored properly. So even if you nickname it post-battle, it will not keep the nickname. If you want to do that, you need the Agate trainer name and trainer ID on your profile. Shiny Hunters, if you want to maybe try out your first RNG with an Agate Celebi trainer ID RNG, I would suggest Coliseum. It's the most flexible game to get a custom trainer ID. Or you could do Arbitrary Code Execution in Emerald to change your trainer ID and secret ID and name for that. I may come back and fix the PP and nickname issues later on. For sure, I'm not done with the e-reader, but I just wanted this project to be finished now, and I consider all these deviations totally acceptable insofar as a custom event goes. In addition, even if I fix the name and the PP issue, I'm never going to fix the trainer gender and the Pokeball issue. Those are always going to be Pokeball and female, because I don't want players to have to
men for Celebi.
Pokeball for this event to work out. That would be a huge pain, because otherwise it wouldn't be legal. So that's where I'm at with that. I hope you find the deviations acceptable as well. And that's it. A fully legal Agate Celebi event programmed into Ruby and Sapphire.
Damn.
I am massively simplifying things here. This took days and days of debugging and coding. It was a huge effort. I have to give a big
Jargon. Oh no, Cat also gone.
Extremely patient.
So
incessant questions.
what does that mean?
Without either of them. So thank them.
I see some based
all that serious legality
plushies on top of that.
To do is do the
fucking
and the flavor text for the Celebi event on the in-game side and the e-card side, and Celebi's 100% done. Here's how the event looks. I applied it to a cut tree in Petalburg Woods, and the game asks if you'd like to investigate. If you do, you get into a battle. If you don't, in addition, if you fail to capture the Celebi, it will say the Celebi flew away, which is the strange message they gave to every encounter if you fail to catch them in these games. I don't really know why. These events are cool, but how am I getting them into the game? I'll be using these fully custom designed and printed cards that I made to get the true e-reader experience. I've printed dot codes before in my Reggie decoration present video, but that was just a blank dot code on a piece of paper. Nothing as complex as this. I designed everything in GIMP using my lackluster photo editing skills, and I based the front of the card off of the Pokédex, similar to how the berry card mimics the in-game berry tags. I included the
GIMP time
and some info from the Pokédex about what hold item they'd have. And in the Pokédex section,
Ooh, Firefox. A light theme even. Actually, I don't know if you can change that in Firefox.
I wanted to differentiate the two cards in a way that would not be super jarring. For the back, I decided every card would have a unique one. Based sort of on what the Eon ticket did, I've got each mont in a silhouette using the Sugimori art, and I included the logos for which game the card works on. Lastly, I just put a picture of the map you can find the Pokemon on there to fill out the rest of the space. Lining everything up properly was a huge pain, but I used a ruler and Google Docs to get proper measurements.
Ruler.
I'd first print the dot code on one side of the paper using NetC Print. Then I'd print the front on the same side, carefully lining it up in Google Docs to make sure that the front covered none of the dot code. Then I printed the back on the other half of the paper. I would then use a craft knife and a ruler to line everything up, and I combined them with wood glue and a sponge paintbrush. I think these came out pretty well, and if you would like to own your own set of these, comment down below. Everyone who comments I love the Nintendo e-reader will be entered for a chance to win a set of these.
I love the Nintendo smell reader.
To win a set. So if you want an extra chance, consider becoming a channel member. It costs as low as $1.99. You get access to a bunch of behind-the-scenes content,
a steal of a deal
to all of my
for
and a bunch of emojis
Stinky Celebi.
And I stream
I
pretty
think
much 5 days a week right here on YouTube. If you want to make or print your own cards, everything I used will be in a GitHub repo in the description down below.
Whoa, fucking baby, Jesus.
Edit my events, get creative with it, or just use the files I provide to make everything yourself. Let's say you're interested in these events, but you don't have a printer or the e-reader or either one of them.
Die.
What can you do to get these events? Well, I'll cut to the chase and be brief. You have 3 easy options if you want these events in your game. The first is getting your Game Boy Advance game, save, and an e-reader ROM on your computer, and then using an emulator to do the transfer. I used MGBA for this during all of my debugging, and it's very easy to do. The second way is if you have a flash cart, you can load an e-reader ROM onto it, and then I'll provide e-reader saves in the GitHub that have these events stored in the access save data section of them. And you just use a link cable to
Blue entered Game Boy Advance.
Own an e-reader but not a printer, you can restore this save to an actual e-reader, and that will work as well.
It's like the funny Pokemon.
Goku's Mystery Event 3 tool. You can directly inject the mystery event files I provide in the GitHub as well. This doesn't give you the fun swiping or seeing anything on the e-reader side, but is no fuss way to get this into your game. And that's how I added brand new content, downloadable content, some would say, to Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Some might even argue it's a DLC.
Emerald and Fire Red and Leaf Green have to offer, and if you think so, let me know down in the comments.
I mean, cool, right? Awesome.
The legendary Coliseum Beasts, as well as Channel Jirachi. So if you're interested in that as well, let me know. I think I can get them done. I also want to give a very special shout out to Xiao, Riley, Gopier, Undead Reality, Happy Lappy, Militia,
Smeller
and
Boys,
for helping me with this project.
Cock Friends,
I couldn't have done it without any of their help.
Onion
Thanks everybody
Boys,
for watching.
Onion
Hope you enjoy these
Girls,
events, and I'll see you next time.
Fox Women, and grilled cheese sandwiches. That was cool though. I like that. Pretty sick. Alright, let's see what else we got. The art style of Soul Eater. I hope this isn't going to be another 30-minute video, but let's see. Oh, it's 6 minutes. Let's go.
Soul Eater's action scenes featured interesting choreography, loose... Hold up, wrong script. Soul Eater certainly had a recognizable art style. Big old goth boots with pigtails and a 2-button coat, not the AliExpress one, the Hugo Boss one.
Oh, hell yeah. What was that?
A look that stood out even among the greats. But this breakdown isn't entirely about Okubo, as it was character designer Yoshiyuki Ito who translated these designs to the big screen. And this channel is more so focused on the anime side. So join me as we go over the art style of Soul Eater.
God, Soul Eater was so fucking long ago.
So a strong silhouette is a fundamental behind many great designs, whether Western cartoons or anime. But what stood out to me was the face, particularly the eyes and nose. Now the eyes are often what we're drawn to first when looking at the face, and a lot of character designers, whether in the 90s or in more recent years, love to emphasize it. It's very common to see eyes packed with information, highlights, shading, and even detailing the pattern to the iris. Whereas Ito's designs, it's just one simple shadow, no highlights, nothing, and a single line used to shape the eye. No lashes, very simple. A direct translation from Okubo's illustrations. The nose also fits into that area of simplicity, but also uniqueness. Now the nose is usually quite simplified in a lot of anime. An approach you've no doubt seen is one that uses just 2 lines, with a strong sharp curve, some long, some short, to define the bridge and bottom part. Sometimes it's just a little dot with a bit of shadow on the side, or it's only the nostrils that are drawn, usually in a front view that is. Even in the Soul Eater manga initially and in later works, Okobot draws the nose in such a way across the main cast, but eventually drifts to a simple oval shape to define the bottom plane to the nose, no nostrils or bridge line. And Ito definitely brings that over, albeit enlarging it just a bit and adding a break in the line. And I'm sure some people will find more appeal in the other designs I've showed, but this stylization gives a very distinct look to the characters.
I like it.
Especially in the
It's like,
view.
it's unique,
also
right?
These two features that make the designs for Soul Eater not by
You don't
Satoshi
have...
feel different, as they're sort of the opposite.
I don't know. You don't have the same feel like other anime.
Features like the mouth. It sits down.
If nothing else, like Soul Eater at the very least looks unique.
And Dragon Ball as an example, which really like to tuck the mouth right under the nose, or Naruto where it's sort of positioned in the middle. Then with hairstyles, you got a lot of variety again, and are very easy to tell by the silhouette. Now for Soul and Black Star especially, it's quite simple with big triangular shapes. Interestingly though, the way Okobot draws his hair has changed a bit over time, but why triangles? Well,
why not triangle? What do you mean why triangle? Why not triangle?
Design choice used for villains, which of course they are not, but the words aggressive and energetic definitely do suit, especially for a character like Black Star. Then there's a character like Patty, whose hair is rounded off at the ends, and of no coincidence, round shapes are usually attributed to being bouncy, happy, and soft. The latter maybe doesn't apply too much in this case, but the rest definitely match. Anyway, zooming out from the face and looking at the design as a whole is the shoes. Yeah, I'm jumping all over the place here. Going back to the aforementioned shonen classics, you can see a lot of different approaches and being very general here. Oda likes to go with a lot of open footwear. Kishimoto, it's those open toe boots. Toriyama, it's often pointy boots or
very true
kung fu slippers. And Soul Eater has a thing for chunky shoes and really dives into giving
big shoe,
and plays a big
very big shoe.
And when you bring in the stylized anatomy, you get a clear design. To be more specific, it's size contrast. So with Maka, you'll go from big boots to like thin tube-like legs. With the arms again, it's thin to these oversized sleeve cuffs. It creates a distinctive silhouette. And going back to Satoshi's designs for Soul Eater Not, and this isn't Satoshi hate, by the way. He's a
yes,
great
it is.
artist.
No,
you can see
we're hating.
Find the calf muscle, which gives a
fucking
extra thickness
own
to the
up
legs.
to it.
The boots,
we're hating.
hands, and sleeve cuffs are like sort of shrunk
big hater
and less
time.
Exaggerated overall. It's very much a more
Soul Eater Not
approach.
looks like shit. Is that is that not what we agreed upon? Are we agreeing upon the fact that it just fucking looks like garbage? Yes. It's way less unique. Exactly. It's just like it's like the average like Moe Blob shit. Whereas like Soul Eater, it's just unique, right? You look at it and you go like, okay, yeah, that's Soul Eater. I know that. That's the guy. That's the man who eats the souls.
But with that, it's not as bold in its silhouettes as Ito's. And without getting sidetracked either, just as Ito was taking cues from Okobot's style at the time.
Everybody's favorite scene from Soul Eater.
The original Soul Eater anime production began. Satoshi was also going off his then current style for Maka near the end of the series.
Smell.
And no surprise
shitty.
how he was drawing her in Soul Eater Not.
Begged.
Anyway, on that note,
Put away. There we go.
Another piece of that in the designs is the use of motifs that represent something about the character.
Spider-Man.
So Black Star, he has a star on his shoes and shoulder.
Spider-Man.
You have the skull. With Justin Law, it's a cross. Killick, it's a flame patterned shirt and necklace. Erika,
my favorite scene was meeting the cat mage, so literally just the start.
No deeper meaning to his tattoos, or at least I thought. Turns out the kanji on his shoulder translates to death, which...
wow.
Kind of prophetic. Simply, it's another feature that gives personality to these character designs and makes each one unique and memorable. Sort of separate to that though, Soul Eater had a thing for rectangles. Sometimes it's for stitching, like across Stein's lab coat and him, or Kid, Liz, and Patty, where it's a bit of both, used for the sleeves, but also in place of the buttons. With Liz and Patty, it's across the belt and for the stitching of their hats. Of course, this is definitely Tim Burton's influence.
Yeah, for sure.
Okobot has directly mentioned in the past, and just
like Soul Eater definitely gives me big Tim Burton vibes. You know, for how much anime can even convey that, but definitely, it's like that's always been kind of that's always kind of been the first thing I think of when I see like Soul Eater. Is definitely like, oh yeah, for sure,
everyone
Tim
brings
Burton.
up when discussing his art. Now finally is the shading. Although it's tempting to pack a design with detail, it's also up to the character designer to consider how easy it will be to animate.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I didn't, thank you, by the way, that I wasn't super huge on for Little Witch Academia. It looked so basic, right? Okay, this isn't Little Witch Academia, but you get the idea.
Detail. It's also
like very basic shading.
How easy it will be to animate for the staff, and as great as
and of course, you know,
shading looks outside
sure,
of
yeah,
taking much longer to draw, it can also stiffen the motion. So Ito goes with pretty simple, soft overhead lighting. The shapes.
It's easier to animate, but
shape. And of course, animators and animation directors can have varied takes on the design sheet. So some of these stylistic notes may be more dominant or completely changed altogether. But with that,
I guess you could say that for Soul Eater too, though. It like the shading is very basic.
And please consider checking out my Patreon.
I prefer the basic shading. I think it depends on the situation. I think there's times where like regular, like just very basic, like very flat shading can work. But then as we saw in that one scene from like the JoJo anime from part 5, where was it, like, you know, like there are moments where shit like this is kind of important because it carries much more meaning in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, no, I mean, like, basic shading's fine too. It's just for Little Witch Academia, it was that for the entire thing. By the way, La Capital time. Shrimp! El shrimpo. But yeah, basically, I mean, like I said, you know, Soul Eater, the art style at the very least is unique as fuck. Whether or not you can say the same thing for like the plot or the premise, sure, it's fine. I think Soul Eater to me, and to like everybody I know, has always been considered to be like, it's fine, right? Like, I don't think there's a lot of people who hate it, but I also don't think that there's a lot of people who like are crazy about it. I treat it sort of in the same way I treat Fire Force, right? Although with Fire Force, I feel like the pacing's, for the anime at the very least, the pacing's off. And so Soul Eater being like much more comedic in nature is also different there, so. This is like Tidor's worst nightmare. There's so much sauce. Oscar has gained so much weight to a point the community is changing his name from La Capital to The Continent. I mean, I'm not surprised if he's eating shit like this every day just for videos and stuff.
En caso de que sienta que algo le hace falta a mi gusto, pero aunque sea sencilla, está riquísima para estos camarones roca. Regresando con el camarón, aquí quiero decirte que hay dos formas básicamente de preparar la roca. Hay gente que prefiere hacer el capeado, que ya sabes que es una cubierta de harina que usualmente se sazona, se le agrega fécula de maíz,
hey, is that beer?
Agua, se
cerveza.
Camarón y se pasa a fritura profunda.
I haven't had shrimp in a while.
Lo recomiendo mucho para los tacos estilo ensenada, que son riquísimos. Tengo un video.
But with shrimp, it's like you have to marinate them so well, otherwise they'll just be boring, which is kind of a shame.
Y específicamente con el panko. Ahorita decía que si no se consigue la mayonesa japonesa, pues no importa tanto, pero aquí sí recomiendo muchísimo el panko, porque ya sabes que le aporta bastante la parte crujiente. Aparte del panko, pues lo que ya conocemos de siempre, que es la harina todo propósito. Esta también la sazono con un poquito de sal de ajo y como siempre,
yeah, just a little bit.
El huevo. Yo estoy usando utilizando 3 y que queden bien batidos.
Egg.
Para este punto yo ya puse a calentar en una olla aceite de cacahuate, ya sabes que es con el que me gusta freír. Y el otro punto por el que recomiendo que el tamaño del camarón sea mediano, pues no sé si lo había dicho, pero número 1 va a ser el bocado perfecto y también porque nos va a facilitar mucho el proceso de empanizado. Si te fijas, yo estoy metiendo aquí todos de una vez a la harina, por eso tengo tazones amplios para que se revuelquen muy bien. Ya lo he mencionado en otros
Just eat them
videos,
like that.
siempre hay que tener una mano para la parte seca y la otra para
All floury and shit.
Eso es el huevo. Simplemente retiramos el exceso de harina y lo mismo, que queden bien bañaditos en el huevo para que el último paso, o sea, el panko.
Yeah, just at the very end, just spill all that fucking. You just spill all that shit. All over the fucking table.
350 grados Fahrenheit, que vienen siendo 170 Celsius.
Dude, just use an air fryer.
En 2 tandas. Aquí la fritura igual es
I mean, to be fair,
rápida, nada más le damos una ligera movidita para
air fryers are totally fine.
Pero fíjate la diferencia de la
But you do kind of notice a difference in taste, and you can, you know, you're supposed to use like still a little bit of oil, even with air fryers, which, you know, works just fine. But still. Alright, what are we doing? Sauce time. Snort it, don't snort flour. You're gonna die.
Si siento que le hace falta un poquito más, le metemos, porque la idea es que, no obviamente en exceso que los vaya a aguadar, pero sí que queden completamente cubiertos. Y ojo, como el camarón,
I feel like,
toda la salsa ya tiene bastante
why putting sauce over it like that? I don't know. I'm not sure where he's going with this. Colombians do that. That's not flour. Pain.
Nada más con un poquito de sal y le ponemos un chorrito de aceite. Esto me lo llevo ahora sí a la estufa a fuego alto.
Ruined? I don't know. We'll see where he goes with this.
Antes de empezar con los camarones, ya una vez que esté hirviendo el agua, le doy una ligera mezclada, tapamos, fuego mínimo y que se cocine por unos 10-12 minutos. Después de este ratito, checamos nada.
Ratito.
En el fondo, como siempre, le di una ligera mezcladita con el tenedor y ahí lo dejé tapadito como por 1 hora en lo que hice.
Bro, just get a rice cooker.
Para este punto, mi arroz ya está perfecto, todavía calientito, y esta va a ser la base que voy a